Right now from Cloquet Ford Chrysler Center in Cloquet, Minnesota. Very pleased to have with us Mr. Alan Birman. Alan, thank you, sir, for joining us on the program today.
Well, thank you for the attention.
Yeah, absolutely. Hopefully some positive attention. Hopefully we don't spur another round of angry emails and phone calls here. So tell me about this this promotion that Cloquet Ford Chrysler Center is offering.
Well, what had happened was I had attended a NRA, Friends of the NRA banquet across state line. I was in Wisconsin, and because we were a table sponsor, we were awarded a SR 45 to be picked up, Ruger, to be picked up at another location because of the care that they take in transferring weapons from one state to another. And it just so happens that that location in Minnesota was a gun shop I'd never been to before because it actually opened up in a bowling alley I used to bowl in years ago, and I was surprised. So when I was talking to the shop owner about his new location and the business, I'd asked him if he wanted to join us in a campaign that I had going on, selling vehicles, and the original concept that I had here was we have a motorsports sporting good business. Besides, we were giving a lawnmower out with purchase of an automobile. And I thought, what the heck, give people a choice, either a handgun or a lawnmower. And that handgun part's a very old idea, going back into the 60s sometime at a jewelry store. And I didn't think there'd be no harm, no foul. Well, come to find out, the one anti-gun group up here, although they say it's not anti-gun, it's the Northland Brady Protect Minnesota chapter, says that they're only about safety. But the guns that the gun shop owner is giving to people have a lock with every one of them in the box. So we went ahead and decided to do the promotion, and she just deployed her troops to call, make negative comments, do all kinds of stuff. And then I went to her site after WCCO out of Minneapolis broadcasted that she was causing us some grief way up here in the Northwoods, that I know she had a Facebook site, and I went there and I commented to her about what was going on, and she specifically wrote that I stated that our employees were being treated mean, and she says right in there, and we don't believe him. So then I just simply sent her back all the comments from off the internet, and she continues to say, I'm not trying to impugn your character, but she called me a liar. So anyhow, I did protest that we will continue to have the campaign go through the end of the month. As of the 1st of next month, we're going to rerun the ads and start it up again.
You're going to rerun the ads. Good for you,
We're going to rerun the ads. Everything that's been reported by the major networks here locally and down in the Minneapolis-St. Paul area was accurate as of about last week. But at this point, the support from listeners that you have, that we have that have been tuned into Facebook, has been somewhere in the neighborhood of about 300 to 400 positive for the 1 or 2 negatives. I'm counting them. The gal who's opposed to all of this, her name is Joan Peterson, and she's taken this on as a personal project, so much so as after I wrote her several times, and you go to her website and see where I wrote lengthy paragraphs about everything that's going on in the world, and she continues to deny most of it and says, that's not what we said, but yet you can read what she said and then read how I responded, that she is literally standing in the way of the same business that generates revenue, that pays taxes, that supports groups such as Kiwanis that gets kids healthy off of this neotetanus. We're helping with UNICEF. I said, those are the same kids you're trying to stop getting shot. So you're hurting the same kids you say you're trying to help. And she took huge offense to that as well. So anyway, she thinks that she's doing better than everybody else, and she doesn't agree with us. And so much so as in the final part of her statement, she said, well, you keep doing what you're doing and we'll keep doing what we're doing. So I have been told that they're going to keep trying to stop our business.
Well, I got to tell you, Alan, I think when they do this, I think as you say, it reveals that they're not about gun safety. They're anti-gun. I mean, this is, you say the person who says, all right, I want to get that gun and not a lawnmower, they've got to go to an FFL. You don't hand them a gun right there in the store.
And they know that. And they come with a lock.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a federal firearm. We've listed all of those pieces of information everywhere, whether it be on the TV or on the newspaper or the Facebook. She knows what it's about, and the nice thing about it is so does the population.
I'm looking at your Facebook page right now, Alan. I see a post from about 6 days ago. FYI, we have lawnmowers at our Cloquet Motorsports location, but be careful. Lawnmowers injure or kill as many people as guns do. And then you have a link to the cutting the lawn, don't become an injury statistic. I love the fact that you're engaging your customer base with a little bit of humor here too, just sort of pointing out the absurdity of what's being directed your way.
Well, we've actually taken a more serious position than our supporters out there, because if you read further in that article, it says, according to the American Academy of Orthopedic Surgeons, a moving lawnmower blade is very powerful. The energy transferred by a normal, typical lawnmower blade is equivalent to being shot in the hand with a .357 Magnum pistol. Now, that's from the healthcare industry telling you that a mower is as dangerous as a .357 Magnum. But it's the supporters that have said things such as one fellow wrote, mowers, they kill grass. And it's the comments like that that are just tipping us over in laughter up here.
Well, listen, Alan, again, I can't thank you enough, sir, for doing what you're doing, for standing strong. We see in this day and age, we see a lot of companies and businesses that are, as you say, you're in the business of selling cars. You're not in the business of selling guns. You're not in the business of defending the Second Amendment. I suppose it'd be very easy for someone in your position to simply walk away and say, I wasn't anticipating this kind of attention, this kind of reaction. But I appreciate you standing up for what you're doing. Well,
when you really look into this and drill it down, there is an underlying fact that's not talked about, and I did write that back to her on her side of the page, is that it may be that I had an idea of shining a light on a pawn shop, gun shop that I became familiar with and helping him out in business, and it became a completely different subject. But little does she know, or anybody else that says, well, doggone it, I don't like that, and I'm not going to buy from him. If they're off to go buy a car from another dealership, and it's anywhere in a 5-state area, quite frankly, I know most of the dealers up here because we do business with one another, and I can't tell you which one is not in favor of guns, because if I'm not mistaken, all, if not most, are in favor of the Second Amendment and the right to have a gun. If you're driving a car, you're sponsoring somebody just like me. So I don't know how, if they just start walking, maybe we can tell which ones are the anti-gun people. They're out there on the street hoofing it.
Alan, how successful has this promotion been? And I got to ask, has the attention from the anti-gun folks, has it just been free advertising for you?
Well, the campaign, the anti-gun people launched this into an atmosphere that we did not anticipate. Once again, if you look at her Facebook, the likes or the shares are minuscule. We have seen numbers and a graph that spikes off the chart unlike anything we've ever done. If I knew this was going to work this well, I would have done it intentionally.
Alan Birman with Cloquet Ford Chrysler Center. Listen, thank you so much for coming on the program. I'm glad to know that the promotion will continue through the month of June, and would love to have you back on. Find out how successful the promotion has been here in a few weeks.
Sounds great. Thanks for the call.
All right. Thank you, Alan. We'll let you get back to selling cars. Alan Birman joined us from Cloquet Ford Chrysler Center. There you go. After dealing with this for a couple of weeks now, Alan says, all right, forget it. We are running the ad again. Good for him.